Topic number 3, I think I'm doing 4 tonight. Timothy Olyphant. He's reflecting. Have I even got this up? I have. Love how they say Star Wars actor. He's not a Star Wars actor, Timothy Olyphant. He starred in The Mandalorian. That does not make him a Star Wars actor. He is an actor. He starred in Tarantino movies. He is a fine thespian. Don't fucking brandish him with Star Wars as if he's some 2-bit fucking helmet bashing Star Wars actor. This guy is an established name. He's a great actor. But he starred in a memorable role in a Star Wars project. Oh, I digress. He's been out recalling his auditions for Tony Stark in the MCU all the way back in 2007. I would have thought, and how he subsequently lost it to Robert Downey Jr. Interactions with Jon Favreau, and just the process of getting into this character and where obviously it led thereafter. And again, I'm going to bring up the quotes. I'm going to endeavour to bring the quotes up. Endeavour's my favourite word just now, incidentally. Can you tell? This is what I had to say, Timothy. I can only tell you that I remember, this is with the playlist, incidentally, opening up about the process of auditioning for the MCU's Iron Man. He had this to say. I can only tell you that I remember thinking that was the first time where, because I'm a bit of a slow learner and I think I was scared to death of the things that come with success in this business. But that was a time where I remember thinking, oh, I can't get any more grounded. And so auditioning for Iron Man would be fun. I think prior to that, I was like, oh, and I don't want those kind of problems. I think part of that appeal was the conversations that I had with Favreau. I just have a tremendous amount of respect for him, and I just like the guy. He's just a good dude. And he loves his food as well, John, which is something close to my heart. That show he does, where he goes round various kitchens around the world, I believe, and cooks food. Not only is he a great writer, a great director, a fucking good actor as well, it has to be said, but he's a fine chef. He's quite a good cook. And anyone that's loving of their food, their cuisine, is the type of guy I can get on board with. That's neither here nor there, though. Where am I at? He's just a good dude. I have to change the quote up. Boom, boom. Just a good dude. And so if you're going down that road, you're not going to find anyone better to go down it with. So I have fond memories of that experience. You know, I try to see things simply for what they are and not what they could be. And any conversations I had with John about the job and about that process, I remember it very fondly. It was an enjoyable process, and well, he's the one who hired me for The Mandalorian, so he doesn't owe me anything. I just thought that was very interesting. I actually wasn't aware that Timothy had auditioned for the role of Tony Stark. I think there was a lot of talk of Tom Cruise potentially being in line for an Iron Man role. I don't know if it was way back in 2007, but certainly there was talk of Tom Cruise being linked with the role in some way. But it just cast my mind back really to other sort of brilliant roles that we've seen over the course of the last 30, 40 years. The ones that spring to mind right away are Harrison Ford's Han Solo. I think Christopher Walken, Kurt Russell were up for that role. Could you imagine how different that role would have been with those two guys acting? It would have been a completely different story, a completely different vibe, different performance. Would we have loved the sort of roguish, scruffy-looking nerf herder quite as much as we'd do if any one of them had been in? Could you imagine Christopher Walken trying to do Han Solo? Who's scruffy-looking? I can't do Walken. That was dreadful. I can do Grace Randolph, who's like a female version of Christopher Walken. Hey, who's scruffy-looking? Just kind of robotic. Almost AI. See if Grace Randolph was replaced with a fucking AI version of herself, no one would blink an eyelid. They wouldn't even notice. The voice is like computer generated already. And she kind of chats that much shit really about film that you really wouldn't notice either. You'd be like, yeah, that's AI. But yeah, imagine how different that role would have been. Obviously Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones as well. Tom Selleck was linked with that role. And I'm sure there's other ones off the top of my head I'm not thinking of. Fucking Nick Cage was nearly Superman at one point. There's so many sort of famous roles over the last, Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox, I think it was your man, I've blanked his name, I always do. May have been Frank or something. Had a slightly German name. He also shot a good chunk of the movie. Obviously, your man, whose name I'm also blanking on, how the fuck do you blank on the director of Back to the Future? What is going on here? But obviously, he decided he didn't like the vibe of that performance, and we get Michael J. Fox in. Completely different. You're making a whole trilogy from that one decision, an iconic trilogy. Why am I blanking that name? That's annoying me. Robert Zemeckis. Fucking hell. Call yourself a film fan, John. So I just found it interesting that how you have these little moments in history where things can go one way or the other. Timothy Olyphant could have potentially have played Tony Stark. I personally don't think that was ever a possibility, because in my mind I always viewed the decision by Jon Favreau to bring his good friend Robert Downey Jr., who was in a downward sort of ebb at that point, obviously with the drug problems and stuff like that. He went off a cliff. It was always his intention to offer him to obviously put out the olive branch, give him a chance to redeem his career. And when you think of Iron Man, you think of Tony Stark, you're just synonymous with Robert Downey Jr. at this point. I couldn't imagine any other actor on the planet portraying that character. He's just perfect for it. It's like an extension of himself. And as good as an actor, or as good of an actor as Timothy Olyphant is, he's not Robert Downey Jr., is he? It's just, I think the right decision was made in the end. But yeah, found it interesting little quote, him reflecting. He doesn't hold any grudges. He did get gave the role as that sort of outlaw figure whose name eludes me from The Mandalorian. He's a cool character, and he's a brilliant actor. He's went on to have real success in Hollywood despite that moment. Also, Christopher Walken was the same, Tom Selleck was the same, Kurt Russell definitely the same. Some roles are just not made for you, man. It's not meant to be. In the end, I'm moving on.